Thank you, everybody, for joining us, whether you are watching live or you're watching the recording. But thank you for joining us for the Accelerated Masters in Education Special Education Program. This is a great, quick virtual event that we have planned for you, just to give you a quick preview of what this program might look like for you, what your experience might be like. But I will go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Drogan and Dr. Lila. Would you guys mind introducing yourselves?
Go ahead.
Sure. I'm Brooke Lilo, and I am an associate professor in the Department of Exceptionality Programs. I teach some of the upper level special education courses, including 2 of the courses in the sequence that we'll be talking about today.
I'm Robin Drogan, and I'm also in the Department of Exceptionality Programs in special ed specifically. I do the graduate coordination, so I'll be working with you if you're interested in the program to help you to apply and to plan and to understand. I work with a lot of grad students, so we'll do that part, and then I teach also some of the lower and upper level courses that are in the sequence.
And I'm sorry, I'm Tom Crash. I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions. I probably should have started that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us again. This is being recorded. This should probably take maybe 20 or 30 minutes or so, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. But go ahead, Dr. Lila.
All right. So I think we'll start with the big question: why the Accelerated Master's Program? A couple things we'll touch on throughout the next sequence of slides is we've decided to embed this accelerated program within a master's program because of several advantages, both with financial aid and then also looking at future outcomes as far as your career. And we'll dig a little deeper into those as we're going. And then obviously the accelerated nature of the program means you get your certification faster, and hopefully that leads to job security, pay increases, etc. Dr. Drogan, do you want to take over the key components?
I was just going to add on, because it goes into this first bullet point. One of the reasons the accelerated program is so we want you to have the opportunity to be a part of it is because there's a grant that's come through, and that would cover some of the course costs and some of the fee costs and the material costs. So we are hoping to offer financial coverage for 10 credits, tuition fees, and materials. And also the shortened nature of the sequence helps you, again, to be able to take advantage of other opportunities for financial aid and loan. And also, depending on where you're working, we want to get you information from financial aid directly about any loan forgiveness programs or other programs that would help you to support your ability to complete the sequence.
And when we're talking about 10 credits, that's 3 courses plus a 1-credit internship that's built into the program. So it is, especially at the cost of the grad level courses, it's a big financial benefit.
Yeah, one of the provisions of the grant was to do it in the 18-month period, to look at a start in this summer and end in summer of 24. So the courses have been embedded in such a way, and we'll look at the sequence to be able to get that in a short period of time. And
forgive me if this was already covered, but would you mind walking the group through the grant itself and how that might impact the students' experience?
Well, this will, I think, yeah.
Okay.
This is the perfect point to do that, actually.
So essentially, a lot of the program highlights are provisions of the grant which came from the Pennsylvania Department of Education or through the Pennsylvania Department of Education. The primary focus is on individuals that are working under an emergency certification right now in the area of special education, looking to become fully certified. The financial support is something that we just touched on, but obviously, since this is a grant, that's the big portion of this, that there's a substantial amount of money for individuals who enroll in the program.
And that being said, though there's a substantial amount of money, there are limited spots because that money went fast when we created the budget and looked at how much that means per person. There are limited available spots, so we're hoping to get the first people in those spots where the funding is available.
We do recognize that if you're working under an emergency certification, that means that your days are occupied. So the program is designed to be at least half of it is online. Everything is in the evening or over the summer. So it is designed with keeping in mind that you will be working in the schools during the day. Field experiences are also aligned to your current employment. So you don't have to leave your school to accomplish many of the field experiences that are embedded in the program. And as Dr. Drogan mentioned, we are hitting the ground rolling. So the courses will start this summer, which for us, that means in a couple weeks. And then they will lead through next summer for completion of the program. So it is quick. I think one of the things we pride ourselves on as a program is that we are here to support you along the way. Dr. Drogan mentioned her role as the graduate coordinator. She meets personally with all of the graduate students to really align the programs to their needs. And that's something to think about. If you've completed prior coursework in education, we may be able to count that towards your program as well. So that's one of the reasons why it's so important to, meet with Robin as you are planning your program.
Okay, so here is the sequence we've been talking about, starting with this summer. One of the courses, technology, would start this summer in May 21st through June 30th, and then the technology and the methods and behavior courses will start July 3rd through August 11th. So the summers you'll see are a bit heavier with 3 courses. The fall and spring have 2 courses and the 1 internship, and then the winter, which is condensed 4-week winter session, is 1 course and 1 credit of internship. We put the financial support in the summer and winters, and where there were more credits, and then the 2 bullet points we've talked about. Individualized programming we can get in. If you already have things, we can look at it. If you already have courses, I can look at it. We can see if that would be a equivalent course. Courses are both online and in person, but all summers and winters are online.
So when sorry, Dr. Drogan, when you talk about online courses, are the courses synchronous or the asynchronous? I
would say that most of them have a synchronous component.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The internship hours are embedded in field experiences. So depending on the semester, it would be embedded with assignments that coincide with what you're doing in the field and information from the courses to apply from the courses. And then if there's an alternate need for a field placement, we can help you to place you. And then student teaching, because it's in the summer, will occur either in a work setting that is similar to like an ESY, an ELL, an early intervention program, some program that's running in the summer. And that's also why the internships are embedded in other semesters to give that field work. The student teaching weeks are actually across the entire program. So that we want the program to be about the application of effective practices. And so this accelerated program really emphasizes that.
And something that's a little bit new for us is the ability to do that. Typically, graduate students have to take off a semester to student teach. And the way this program is set up, you do not have to take off time from work, especially if you're working in a school setting. I talked a little bit about this earlier, but the reason that we did go with this format of embedding the program within a master's degree is that your master's core courses will not only count towards certification, but ultimately a master's degree. And you can then potentially qualify for district pay increases. And something that we learned in this process is that you can only apply for federal financial aid if you are enrolled in a master's program. So this gives you the ability, if that's something that you're interested in, to apply for that federal financial aid. And then ultimately, it helps to align you with potential loan forgiveness programs because special education is an area of high need.
And so you know what the master's core means is when you look at the coursework chart that I had just shown, that coursework chart is all certification courses. To get the master's, you take the certification courses, and then there are additional, I believe, 4 courses that you take in addition that are the master's core. And every graduate program at our university has a master's core. That's part of the policy. So after you finish certification, then you're essentially adding those credits towards your instructional too, and account to get your master's so you can get a pay increase.
And there is no time frame for the additional courses. You can take them over an extended period of time.
Yeah, there's a 6-year time frame, which can be extended to about 10.
I think this goes without saying right now. I think it's pretty clear that there is a need for teachers, especially in the field of special education. We are, seeing our students go out the door every day with jobs before they even graduate or complete student teaching. So I mean, we see that firsthand, especially at this time of year on a daily basis. And if you are working currently under an emergency certification, you know the need is there. So this program really is aligned to get you permanently into a position where perhaps you're already working, or prepare you to move into a permanent position.
So the application process is very simple. We've set up this QR code to help you that if you want to use it, it will go right to the application. You can also go on bloomu.edu, go to academics in the maroon bar down to the Office of Graduate Studies, and then hit the yellow apply now button that's in the middle of the page. That will take you to another page where you go to number 2, and it gives you all of the information about how to apply. To tell you the truth, if you just email me or call me, I will help you through the application process. It is so easy, and I can take you right to where you need to go. And if you do have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out, because when you talk to me, that gives you, even coming here, it checks off this meeting with the grad coordinator a bit. Just check off that you've talked to us, email me so I can give you information about your personal path. For example, you might have had some of those courses, or you might have questions about, I already have a certification in another area. Can I add on special ed through this program? There are many different situations that will come up, and I can help you to find a path for you, whether it be this path or another path.
And is any of this time sensitive? Like if a student wanted to maybe enroll in this program in the fall, is that too late? Or next spring, is that too late? Like, is any of this sensitive to the time of the year?
That's a good question. I mean, I think the ideal way is to come in the spring. I mean, in the summer. If someone has courses and it might work out that they could start in the fall, it really just depends on what someone's coming in with or what the situation is. And like I said, I think the best thing to do is to email or call me and set a time up, and we can look at your individual package and see. I would say the funding is supposed to be for people who participate in the program in this period of time. That being said, if we don't fill all of those spots, we may be able to do that. We are still figuring out the state funding piece, like when's it coming in, how are we getting it to them? We will get it to everyone, but I think some of that is depending on the need and what we see. If someone has a situation, and the state allows us to, we might be able to extend. We don't know all of the answers to that.
Okay.
I think
I don't know.
Robin's hedging a little bit because she's really good at her job of working with individual students and accommodating their needs. No one understands our graduate programs or just the ins and outs of being a graduate student, trying to balance work, trying to balance family, than Robin. And I think that's what she's referring to. But ultimately, as far as a timeline, the absolute cleanest way and the best way to ensure that you will qualify for funding is to come in within the next week or 2 weeks and begin the program this summer. So that's the short answer to that question. I think what Robin's trying to express is that, you know, if that does not work for you, don't write this off as, you know, it's just not going to work. There are perhaps other avenues that we can look at. So setting up that meeting is crucial. But if you are ready to go, set up the meeting now.
We'd love to have
That's
you.
the best possibility to, you know, really take advantage of that funding, which is a huge incentive and frankly, one that we have not seen in ever. And I will say every cent of the money that we received for the grant is going right to the students directly, every cent. There's not 1 cent that's not going to supporting students in their courses. So that's the way we wanted to design it, because we want people to be able to get into the program and do it in a feasible timeline and be able to, you know, support themselves appropriately.
And we have a good question from the audience. Is it possible to start this summer?
The start is this summer.
Yep, that is the ideal.
Okay. So
and by this summer, just to be clear, this summer is at the end of this month.
May 21st is the first day of classes, and I have created an expedited process for the application. That's why it would be really helpful if you would reach out to me to make a time, because if I know you're coming in, I will expedite the application process and you will not have to put in all of the documents. I've already got that set up, but I need to know who you are so I can create the path for you to do it in that way. So we've already taken away some of the barriers for the application.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, sorry, and Dr. Drogan put her contact information in there. How often do classes meet in the summer, and what are the hours?
So the classes meet, the classes meet in the evening from 5 to 8:20. The way it's set up typically is a class meets 2 nights a week, but they don't actually meet 2 nights a week. So for example, I guess my point is it's either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, 5 to 8:20. Typically, professors will meet synchronously one of those nights and asynchronously the other night. So one night you'll be on your own, for example, one night you'll be together. I do know the technology course, which is offered the first half of the summer, is asynchronous. So you will not be synchronous at all during that. That will be online with you know, with input from the professor and stuff, but you won't be meeting all together at that time. And I can help you with that schedule more when we meet.
Those are great questions.
Yes. So for anyone who's watching already have a bachelor's degree, would you be able to kind of talk us through some of the differences between undergraduate coursework and graduate coursework, and kind of the work expectations? Like everyone here or who might be interested in this program is likely already working. What might the work-life balance be like? What might a typical week look like?
Well, I mean, one of the things to know about this program is it's based on the competencies from PDE for certification. So the courses in this part of the program for your certification are going to be similar to the same competencies that undergraduates will be taking, because they are competencies that are based on your certification. There are often that we have embedded competencies specific for graduate students into them. Since it's accelerated, we want to make sure that you have the foundation and background. So there are portions of the courses that are a bit more where we're like focusing on certain topics or in certain things for you in the courses. I don't know how to answer how much workload.
As far as workload goes, part of what Dr. Joel was talking about is that we've been strategic at embedding competencies from what would be 2 separate undergraduate level courses into this sequence of courses, which ultimately means that it will save you the cost of those 2 courses, but you have an additional lift within the courses that you are taking. Typically, that looks like going through some additional content. We usually present that in the format of online modules, some additional exploration of evidence-based practices that are available online.
Legal stuff. I mean, I think the one thing to remember as a graduate student who's working, the best part is that you're working and doing it every day. So I feel like it's almost less because it's a little less because you're doing it. So that application part, your ability to look at it from the lens of actually doing it is completely different than when an undergraduate goes through who's never taught in a classroom and isn't teaching in a classroom. So I feel like you're more vested in it to begin with and more eager for the information, but also because you're doing it, it becomes like all part of one, like your job and your classes are all pretty much embedded together. And therefore, I feel like it's a little, like it's a smooth transition into that process.
It's a really good point. I agree. I see this all the time in my courses where I have graduate level students and undergraduate level students.
Mhm.
Even though the graduate level students on the surface of things are doing some extra components, they actually understand the content at a much different level, and it actually comes much easier to them because they understand the context in which the content's being presented.
I mean, you're essentially pulling the content right out and applying it right away. You know, the state has been very intentional with where the courses are. For example, they put the behavior course right at the front of the sequence because people have trouble with classroom management. And we know that working with students with challenging behavior is like right at the forefront of what we do often. So as special educators, so it's really important, like they placed those classes there intentionally to give you the support you need. And I feel like as a teacher, you're going to be right away applying that information. And again, it kind of just becomes one kind of fluid piece when you're working and doing the courses. It will be work, and we will ensure that the professors know that they're going to have increased numbers of students who are coming in with emergency certifications and who are in the field working so that they can work with you based on your needs as well.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay.
And again, given the time sensitivity here, if you do have any questions, reaching out to Dr. Drogan or Dr. Lilo or myself, we're happy to help in any way that we can. And again, this is a big decision. I will say this is a very convenient time to do this. Some of you might be wondering, like, oh man, this is not a good time. I can tell you there's probably never a good time. However, this is an opportune time in that, this is coming to the form of a grant. There will be some additional financial incentives to be able to do this program. And as Dr. Lilo had mentioned earlier, not only is there a shortage of teachers across the country, there's like an enormous shortage of special education teachers right now. So you are not only kind of fulfilling a passion of yours probably, but also help meeting a really, really important need in our educational system right now, which is why this grant was probably instituted to begin with, because we need more people going into this field. So this is, really, really important. And I'm sure you probably all knew that anyways, but Dr. Drogan, Dr. Lilo, did you have any parting advice, any final recommendations before we sign off?
We would love to have you. We would love to have you. If you have any questions, none of them are bad questions. We'd love to hear from you. And please contact us. We really feel fortunate to have gotten the grant and to have this program because we have been waiting for something like this so that we can help to support people to get into special education. And we are always trying to put out the best teachers we possibly can. So you will have all of our support. And please let us know if you're interested.
And I would just say jump on this opportunity. As someone who had portions of my own coursework covered by grants, it makes a huge difference about your ability to move forward and progress through the program. So I would encourage you to take the leap.
All right, well, great. Well, again, if anyone has any questions, please, do not hesitate to contact us. We work for you, and we are certainly happy to do so. So we look forward to hearing from everybody in the future, and have a great day.